Hi everyone, this is Emily Leiphart from Art from the Heart. Welcome to another video for my Too Many Cards video series with Kalyn Kepner. We took some time off over Christmas and New Year's, then Kalyn went on her belated honeymoon, but we're finally back and super excited about today's video. My Favorite Things is our generous sponsor, and we're featuring the amazing Mod Bird stamp set and coordinating dies, as well as the Sassy Pants Best Friend stamp set. Mod Birds is a two-step layering stamp set. It's so easy to use and I just love the results. There's a stamping guide on the MFT website, and the stamps that go together are circled on the stamp set itself for convenience. There are 4 birds, 2 in each direction so you can mix and match to create a conversation. There are also 2 flowers and 2 leaves so you can create quick and easy floral arrangements. Of course, there are also coordinating dies for all of these images. The Sassy Pants Best Friend stamp set literally has the most hilarious friendship sentiments, and I can see myself using every single one of them with my friends. I just love the sarcasm in these, and they're sure to bring a smile to the recipient. The first thing I'm going to do is stamp several of each of the images in various color combinations so I can mix and match when creating my scenes. For the smaller leaf and birds, I like to stamp the outline first and then stamp the fill-in colors. I'm stamping the leaves with frayed leaf and forest glades. Next, I'm stamping the flowers with pink pearl, coral bliss, sun-kissed, and orange cream. I'm going to skip most of the stamping of the outline of the birds to focus on the fill-in sections. If I was definitely sticking to one color for each bird, then I would continue to use the acrylic block for stamping. However, I want some of my birds to have 2 colors, and it's risky to stamp part of a stamp with one color and try to stamp the other part with another color. Going from one ink pad to another can sometimes work, but when images are clean and simple, I'd rather have perfect stamping, and the Misty stamping tool is perfect for that. For the first right-facing bird, I used washi tape to cover the body of the bird so I could stamp the head and tail with dusk, then move the washi tape over to the top of the bird and stamp the body with Caribbean sky. The second bird is stamped in desert night and deep iris. The third bird is stamped with the same colors as the first bird. For the second right-facing bird design, I didn't stamp well the first time because I was too focused on lining up the 3 curves on the body. The easiest thing to do is to simply line up the head. As long as the triangle fits inside the head, the 3 curves automatically line up. The first bird is stamped with only dusk. The second bird is stamped with only deep iris. For the first left-facing bird, I stamped it with deep iris, dusk, and then a combination of deep iris and dusk. For the second left-facing bird design, again it's easiest to line up the triangle in the beak, and then the pattern on the bird's back is pretty much automatic. The first bird is stamped with dusk and Caribbean sky. The second bird is stamped with dusk and deep iris, and the third bird is stamped with only deep iris. After I die cut all of the images, I can start to pair up the birds and cluster the flowers and leaves to create my little scenes. For my first card, I planned to have a laurel design at the base to anchor the birds, but that ended up changing a bit. The birds will have an open archway in the background with a nighttime sky to match, and I'll stamp one of the sentiments right underneath the archway. For my second card, I plan to have an asymmetric cluster of flowers in the bottom right-hand corner and a smaller one in the top right-hand corner to draw the eye diagonally across the card. I will create a different type of sponged background for this scene using colors from the images. I just love the hilarious expressions on the birds' faces. Little variations in the stamping will completely change their expressions, and I love how they're all the same but different. The panel for my first card was die cut using the stitched rectangle from Blueprints 29. Then I'm die cutting a window using the third largest of the stitched arch STAX dies. Since I'll be sponging a background using distress inks, I'm also going to die cut the arch from watercolor cardstock. The panel for my second card was die cut using the stitched scallop rectangle from Blueprints 27. Both panels were cut from linen cardstock, and the card bases will also be cut from linen cardstock. I'm using 6 distress ink colors to sponge this background. The colors I use are Shabby Shutters, Peeled Paint, Stormy Sky, Faded Jeans, Shaded Lilac, and Dusty Concord. I forgot to wipe off my craft sheet between the greens and blues, which muddied the background a bit, but I was able to make it work. When I'm done, I use shimmer spritz to splatter the background and use a clean paper towel to wick away the excess moisture. I used masking paper on the edges of the second panel because I wanted to leave a white border when I used the cloud stencil to sponge a background using those same distress ink colors. There are many ways to use this stencil, and while some people sponge their clouds from the top down, I like to sponge mine from the bottom up. I start with peeled paint and lightly swipe up from the surface of the stencil upwards off the edge. I'm still working on using a lighter hand, especially with darker colors. In order, the rest of the colors are Shabby Shutters, Dusty Concord, Shaded Lilac, Faded Jeans, and Stormy Sky. I make sure to clean off the stencil between each color and also rotate it 45 degrees to get variation in the clouds. I also find it helpful to vary the distance between cloud layers. When I get to the last color at the top, I swipe it as high as I can without reaching the stitched border. Then I go back to the bottom and blend Shabby Shutters into the first layer of clouds. It looks so cool once the masking tape is removed. Here you can see the two backgrounds side by side. They both use the same colors but are quite different. Next, I'm going to stamp the sentiments with black ink. On my first card, it was quite obvious where the sentiment was going, but I had to place the other elements on the second card before being able to gauge the position of that sentiment. Now I can start assembling the cards. At this point, I'm still planning to make a shaker with this first card. I pencil in the position of the background so I can adhere it to the card base. While I'm reaching for the foam tape, I decide against the shaker, but I still want to pop up the panel for dimension. I spend quite a bit of time arranging all of the different elements. I attach some of the flowers and leaves together with glue dots since they're easier to move around as a group. Individually, they move around too much and are hard to place. I use a combination of foam tape and glue dots to adhere all of the images to the card. To finish, I add some clear round drops, and my first card is done. For my second card, I start by adhering the sponged panel to the card base. Then I use glue dots to create the bouquets and adhere them to the card base. I double up on glue dots to give the bird slightly more dimension. And now my second card is done. Here's a closer look at both my cards. They use the same colors but are completely different. The first one has a fairly simple design with quite a bit of dimension. The second card is flat and easy to mail, but is visually busy and full of color. I love that Mod Birds makes it easy to create both types of cards. Cards that use just the birds or just the flowers alone would also look fantastic. Be sure to leave a comment here and on Kalyn's YouTube channel for your chance to win a $25 gift certificate to the My Favorite Things shop. Comments will close on February 20th, 2019, and the winner will be announced before our next Too Many Cards videos go live. This is a reminder to please check back to see if you've won. Our last two winners have still not claimed their prizes, and we would like to give them one last opportunity to contact us. Thanks so much for watching, and please head over to my blog to see more photos and a full supply list.